Three plus money picks for NFL Week 5 Sunday action. I got a plus 125 money line, and I got a plus 145 player prop and a plus 115 player prop. Welcome to the channel. My name is Peter Apple, and this is the home for all of my NFL picks moving forward. And the best way to support, the best way to keep this all free without spending a dime, just like this video. Comment down below what you think about these plays. What are your favorite plays? I love chatting it up in the comment section. And of course, turn on post notifications and hit that big red subscribe button so you never miss any of my NFL pick videos. A reminder that you can find all of my picks on BetMGM. Just remember to use code JustGridiron if you're new, because if your first pick loses, you're going to get it all back in bonus bets up to $1,500. Don't just leave this free offer on the table. Remember, that's code JustGridiron on BetMGM, because if your first pick loses, you get it all back in bonus, up to $1,500. Before we get to the picks, let's recap how Week 4 went. I shouldn't be smiling. It went terrible. On Thursday, I took the over 43 between the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and I was lucky to even get out of there with a push. Not a good play. That was an excruciating game to watch. Kyler Murray, what are you doing? Whatever. Moved to Sunday. Terrible. 1-4. The worst day of my NFL season. And I wish I could come to you and say, well, this was a bad beat. This was a bad beat. No, it wasn't. It was a bad day on me. My apologies, folks. But luckily, I think I made up for it slightly, right? It's hard to make up for a 1-3 day, but we did hit Evan Ingram over 2.5 receptions at plus 140. Guy had 6 targets, 4 catches, should have had more catches. He dropped the easiest pass I've ever seen. And another one he caught, but one of his feet was out of bounds. So in this video, again, I got 2 more reception props, both at plus money and a plus money line. Let's start with the money line before we get to the props. This is my bounce back Sunday. You ready, folks? We're leaning into my model recommendations, and I'm ready to rock. The Dallas Cowboys travel to MetLife to take on the 0-4 lowly Jets. The Cowboys are a short favorite on the road after an impressive showing against the Packers in a game that ended in a tie. They fought for every single minute an NFL game can muster, and it was a huge emotional game against the team that acquired their best defensive player in Micah Parsons. After the hardest fought battle of the season for Dallas, they're now going to travel to New York and play outdoors, a recipe that has been bad for a dome team like the Cowboys. After a hard-fought win against the Giants at home just a few weeks ago, they then went on the road to face the Bears. What happened? They got destroyed 31-14. This is an even worse spot, especially playing every single minute in an NFL game that you could possibly do with a tie, where in the other game, there was still minutes left on the clock in an overtime game. But not only is this a bad spot, the matchup actually lends itself to some Jets success. The Jets' rushing attack has quietly been one of the better units in football. They rank 4th in rushing success rate and 2nd in explosive rushes. With Justin Fields, his mobility is opening up lanes for Breece Hall to punish these defenses. Now, the passing game isn't very good. 18th in EPA per dropback and 22nd in explosive pass percentage. But they've been efficient on down-to-down basis, ranking 8th in success rate. The profile suggests to me that they're going to be able to sustain drives, control the tempo, and play keep away that they did against the Miami Dolphins. It's just they fumbling all the time. I also think this is a spot where Fields can have some success through the air. His numbers against zone coverage are much better than he is against man, and the Cowboys play some of the highest zone coverage in the league because they don't have the personnel to play man because they stink. Fields should have success both on the ground and through the air against the single worst defense in the NFL by EPA. They sit dead last in EPA per dropback allowed and 24th in success rate against the pass. Shocking drop-off from that Cowboys reputation. They stink against the run, ranking 24th in EPA per rush and 22nd in success rate allowed. Jets are positioned to heavily lean on this ground game and ball control strategy, a formula that really worked on Monday Night Football, like I said, undone by a bunch of untimely fumbles. Now, the Cowboys offense is good, right? Especially with Dak Prescott. And the run game has been awesome. Number 1 in rushing success rate and 4th in EPA per rush. But it's built on more efficiency than explosiveness, as they only rank 22nd in total explosive runs with Javonte Williams. And the matchup directly against the Jets defense that has been one of the best in the league against the run, though, 4th in success rate allowed, 4th in stuff rate. The key is whether New York's stout front can knock Dallas's efficient run game off schedule, and I think they can. And what that'll do is force Prescott into tougher spots without CeeDee Lamb as a safety blanket. This is about the spot and it's about the matchup. The Jets are coming off a gut-wrenching Monday Night Football loss where self-inflicted turnovers lost them that game. They outgained the Dolphins. They should have won. Dallas, by contrast, is coming in off a high-profile shootout that ended in a tie and what felt like probably a must-win against Green Bay. That emotional swing and the difference in scores, I think, is setting up for a perfect buy low, sell high opportunity. Forgive me, my mind is a little on baseball right now, but we're back. Matchup wise, New York can control the trenches with the run game and stop the run on the other side. Dallas's efficiency on the ground is real, but this is a uniquely bad opponent. With their season slipping, I expect the Jets to play with as much urgency as possible in a, must win. I mean, you got to win at least some point. But my model makes this line a pick 'em. So I already see line value, but the reason I'm going with the money line is this spot, again, is just so bad for Dallas. And I think the Jets get their first win of the season. If they don't win this game in this spot, they might never win again. Considering I make the line minus 110 and it's plus 125, I will take it. And I would take the Jets money line all the way down to plus 110. As long as you can get that or better, it's in range for me. Give me the Jets Jets. What a terrible statement. Give me the Jets to win the ball game. For my next pick, we're going to look at tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders, Brock Bowers. And people were saying in my Discord, I'm betting too much on the Raiders. And you might be right, but this one's going to hit, at least I think. Brock Bowers' second season hasn't really started with fireworks. After two quiet outings against Washington and Chicago, the mega hype, hasn't it kind of faded a little bit? But if you dig into the box scores, if you dig past the box scores, Bauer's underlying usage and matchup this week suggests that his receptions is just mispriced. Even during this so-called slump where he still caught 5 balls in 3 of his 4 games, Bowers has remained one of the most efficient players at his position. He owns a 22% target share, really solid, and converted those looks into catches at a 73% clip that's elite. Against Chicago last week, he only ran 20 routes, season low, yet still posted 5 catches on 6 targets. That kind of efficiency underscores how integral he is to the Raiders' passing game when he's on the field. For his career, Bowers averages nearly 35 routes a game. So if Sunday's contest just has fewer chaotic turnovers from freaking Geno Smith, my God, he should return to a normal script where he's getting more than 20 routes run. The matchup also tilts in Bauer's favor. I love this matchup against Indy. They've allowed the 4th most yards to players aligned in the slot, in line, or as offline tight ends this season per FTN Fantasy. Precisely the alignment slots that Bowers does most of his work. The schematic weakness should be something that the Raiders coaching staff should be eager to exploit. And meanwhile, on the other side, Colts offense is humming. Daniel freaking Jones. They're one of the most efficient units in football. They've been able to move the ball. They're going to put up tons of points in the stupid Raiders defense and forcing opponents to stay aggressive to keep pace. If Vegas finds themselves trailing, which I think they will, right? Bowers' target volume is going to spike in catch-up mode. The Colts also haven't seen a tight end this season that is even close to Brock Bowers. Right now, they rank 14th in receptions allowed to tight ends after facing Tyler Higbee of the Rams, Chigakonkwo with the Titans, Evan Ingram and Adam Troutman with Denver, and Tanner Connor with Miami. Last season, they were one of 7 teams to allow 100 receptions to tight ends in a season with 101. Now, the Raiders have 2 tight ends, right? Michael Mayer, but he's questionable with a concussion, and Brock Bowers is questionable. I am expecting both to play. It's factored into my numbers. So while Bowers is still banged up, he can still catch the football. That's why I'm not going with yards. I'm going with receptions here because I am concerned about the yards after the catch, but I still think they'll scheme him open and he'll be able to catch the ball. I just don't think he'll be his normal self running after the catch, right? He hasn't gotten 6 receptions so far this season, but if we look at his chart last year, he had 6+ catches in 9 of 17 games. That's over 50%. So books have set his receptions line at 5.5. plus 145 to the over, or they're giving you 4.5 juiced about minus 150 to the over. Plus 145 implies like a 41% chance that he reaches 6 catches. My model is at minus 110, so it's slightly over 50%. So there's a big edge here, right? And even if he's banged up, I think he's going to play. And I think he's going to play well. And I think he could catch 6 balls indoors against a defense that hasn't proven they can cover tight ends. So give me Brock Bowers over 5.5 receptions at plus 145. For my next pick, we're going to look at one of my favorite players in the NFL right now, Giants running back Cam Skattebo. I love his play style so much. It's so awesome. And he has a clear connection with Jackson Dart. Without Malik Neighbors, I think Dart is going to heavily lean on his partner in crime. But I'm not talking about rushing, even though Skattebo, I assume, is going to continue to find success in that area. I'm talking about receiving. He averaged 3.5 receptions per game at Arizona State. And so far, he's only gone over 2.5 receptions once. However, 3 of those games were with Russell Wilson. And after Malik Neighbors got hurt in the second quarter, Dart targeted him twice, and he got both passes in just 2.5 quarters. Now, fully without Neighbors, I expect them to weave Skattebo into the passing attack. Dart has very few weapons to work with. Wandell Robinson and the Saints offense can be, or Saints defense, excuse me, can be exploited indoors. They've allowed the 13th most receptions to running backs, even though most teams are crushing them. So there's no need for a trailing game script where running back catches become, you know, much easier, much more robust. What's the word I'm thinking of? There's more receptions late in game when a team is trailing because there's more passing attempts. And especially you got to move the football, right? But here's the thing, though. The Giants are actually underdogs in this game, right? Giving more opportunities for a trailing game script. So late in the game, if Dart is driving, he's going to rely on his young rookie running back needing those passes for short games, for short gains, excuse me. At a plus number, this is one of my favorite plays, especially considering I'm projecting over 3 receptions for Cam Skattebo, meaning I make the line closer to minus 135. At plus 115, I love Cam Skattebo to catch at least 3 balls against the Saints on Sunday. Give me over 2.5 receptions at plus 115. That'll do it. Those are my 3 best bets, all plus money. And I'm really, really excited for this Sunday. And if you enjoyed, again, the best way to support, comment down below what you think about these plays. And of course, what are your favorite plays? And hit that big red subscribe button as I will be back for Monday Night Football. Thank you all for listening, but we have to remind ourselves it's not gambling advice.